Imagine this. You're sitting in a classroom, the familiar buzz of students talking, the shuffle of papers, the hum of the lights overhead. It all blends into the comforting routine of a normal day. Then suddenly, it's all broken by a voice crackling through the PA system, cold and urgent. "Lock the doors of your classroom. Everybody take cover immediately." The room falls silent. Your heart skips a beat as you hear the deafening sound of a gunshot. People screaming. Chaos ensues. Panic grips the room. Your heart races, your hands shake, and you wonder, is this really happening? Today we're diving into 3 terrifying school lockdown stories, which are all based on real events. These stories are a haunting reminder of the unpredictable horrors that can unfold in what should be the safest place for a child: a school. Buckle up, friends, because these stories will leave you on the edge of your seats. Our first story takes us to San Bernardino, California. It was April 10th, 2017. A normal school day at North Park Elementary School that soon turned into a nightmare. The day started off like any other. The hallways were alive with the echoes of children's laughter, teachers engaging with their students, the warmth of routine surrounding everyone in the school. But shortly after 10:30 a.m., that sense of safety was shattered by the sound of gunfire. The shooter was 53-year-old Cedric Anderson, the estranged husband of Karen Smith, a special education teacher at the school. Anderson carried a Magnum revolver, concealed in a bag. He had a long history of domestic abuse and violence, something Karen had painfully become aware of in the months leading up to the attack. Despite their recent separation, Anderson's anger and obsession had grown, leading him to commit this unspeakable act. In the days before the shooting, Anderson posted disturbing messages on social media, hinting at his intent, but no one expected him to actually bring his threats to life. On that fateful day, Anderson calmly walked into the school, claiming he needed to drop something off for his wife. Once inside Karen Smith's classroom, where children with special needs were gathered, Anderson approached her without a word and opened fire at close range. Karen was killed instantly. Tragically, 2 students standing nearby were also caught in the gunfire. 8-year-old Jonathan Martinez, a sweet boy with a bright smile, was gravely wounded. Another student was injured, but their life was spared. As the shots rang out, chaos erupted. The school went into immediate lockdown. Teachers locked the doors, barricaded classrooms, and huddled their students into safe corners. Praying that the shooter wouldn't make his way to them, Anderson shot and killed himself after his rampage, leaving behind a scene of devastation. Jonathan Martinez was rushed to the hospital. But despite the medical team's best efforts, the young boy succumbed to his injuries. The other student survived but was left with emotional scars that would take years to heal. The aftermath of the North Park Elementary School shooting was marked by grief and disbelief. Karen Smith was remembered as a dedicated teacher, and Jonathan Martinez, a vibrant, kind-hearted child who loved life, was mourned deeply by his family and the community. This shooting reignited debates on the importance of domestic violence prevention, school security measures, and mental health awareness. The tragedy highlighted the sobering reality that no place is completely safe from such violence. The North Park Elementary School shooting was over in minutes, but the emotional scars left on the victims' families, the students, and the community will last a lifetime. Next, we travel north to Canada. The date is December 6, 1989, and we're at École Polytechnique in Montréal, Quebec. It was a normal winter day. Students rushing between classes, bundled in coats and scarves to protect against the biting cold, completely unaware of the terror that was about to descend upon them. At around 5:10 p.m., 25-year-old Marc Lepine entered the engineering building with a Ruger Mini 14 semi-automatic rifle. His mind was filled with rage, primarily directed at women. Lepine had grown up with an abusive father and had experienced years of rejection and failure, which he blamed on the advancement of women in society. To him, feminism was the root of all his problems. His actions were premeditated. He left behind a suicide note explaining his motive: to rid society of feminists who he claimed had stolen his opportunities. On that fateful day, Lepine entered a classroom, ordered the male students to leave, and lined the women up against the wall. "I am fighting feminism," he declared, before opening fire. The sound of gunshots ricocheted through the building as students ran for their lives. In just a matter of minutes, Lepine moved from classroom to classroom, methodically targeting women. 14 women lost their lives that day, and 14 others were injured, including both men and women caught in the crossfire. The school was placed on lockdown as panic spread throughout the building. Students barricaded themselves in classrooms, fearing the gunman would find them. For nearly 20 minutes, terror reigned before Lepine turned the gun on himself. The aftermath of the Montreal Polytechnique massacre sent shockwaves throughout Canada and beyond. Lepine's targeted attack on women was not just senseless violence. It was a calculated act of misogyny. His victims were not random. They were women he believed didn't belong in the male-dominated field of engineering. This massacre sparked a national conversation about gun control, mental health, and the danger of gender-based violence. It led to the creation of December 6th as Canada's National Day of Remembrance, an action on violence against women, and prompted strengthened gun control laws in an effort to prevent future tragedies. Our final story takes us across the Atlantic to the small, peaceful town of Dunblane, Scotland. It was March 13th, 1996, and the children at Dunblane Primary School were starting their day in the gymnasium. The echoes of laughter and playful chatter filled the air, young students preparing for their physical education class. Thomas Hamilton, a 43-year-old former scout leader, had long been viewed with suspicion by the community. His erratic behavior, particularly toward children, had raised red flags for years. At around 9:30 a.m., Hamilton entered the school armed with 4 handguns and over 700 rounds of ammunition. He walked straight to the gymnasium, where 29 children, all aged 5 and 6, were playing. Without warning, he opened fire. The sounds of laughter were instantly replaced by screams of terror. Teachers and staff scrambled to protect the children, but the onslaught was relentless. In just a few minutes, Hamilton had killed 16 young children and their teacher, Gwen Mayer, who heroically tried to shield her students from the bullets. Many others were injured, their lives forever altered by the trauma of that day.
I just remember little things like it being very cold and just having my little tights on underneath my PE kit, and I had, like, queuing up to get into the PE hall and sort of running about. But then I don't actually remember him coming in, or like what he looked like, or him actually like opening fire at anybody. It was all kind of just a blurring, and I think that I must have just realized that there was something not quite right.
As news of the massacre spread, shock and disbelief gripped the small town. How could such a horrific act of violence happen in a place where children should have been safe? The aftermath of the Dunblane massacre left the entire community devastated. Families were mourning the loss of innocent lives, grappling with the unimaginable pain of losing their children. These stories are a chilling reminder of how quickly life can change, how the ordinary can become unimaginable in the blink of an eye. Schools should be places of safety, where children learn and grow without fear. Yet for the families and communities affected by these tragedies, the pain and trauma are constant reminders of the fragility of life. But there's something we can do. Let's honor the memory of those lost by demanding safer schools, advocating for better security, and standing up against the violence that continues to take innocent lives. If you found these stories compelling, please like, share, and subscribe. And most importantly, let's continue the conversation about school safety. Our children deserve better. Stay safe